I'm sure you've heard it all before. One is the loneliest number and the most dangerous number in business. If you're putting all your eggs in one basket, then you're really opening up yourself and your business and your customer, your company to a lot of potential risk by not diversifying your traffic. And today I want to go ahead and show you what is really possible when you open up other channels. Because the reality is, yes, if you are an e-commerce brand already established, making sales on Facebook, you are absolutely leaving money on the table. Yes, I'm sure you've heard that a million times, and you might say, but hey, wait a minute. It's not just so easy to tap into Google. It's a completely different ecosystem. It's a completely different mentality. There's a lot more to learn. And I'm sort of saying this from personal experience because as the owner of my company, we built our agency off the back of Facebook ads, which I'm particularly good at. But to really be successful and serve our clients and to grow and expand, we needed to offer other networks. So I brought in a incredible Google media buyer who does all of our buys on the various Google ad networks or channels, and we'll talk about that. So I know enough to go over what you want to look at, why you want to consider it, what steps you can take, and then when we bring someone on, we have a dedicated Google media buyer who has spent at his peak, I think his highest client was $400,000 a month on Google search. So we're definitely well versed in the good old Google machine. So what's really important to know is that there is when it comes to your e-commerce store and what you want to do, there's Google search, which used to be known as Adwords or just Google Google ads. It's now Google search, Google display network, which are banner ads, Google shopping, and of course, let's not forget YouTube. So each one of those offers you an opportunity to tap into money left on the table, and you really want to be adding each channel. And before we get ahead of ourselves, what I really want to call attention to is one of the great things about Facebook that you probably know is that with Facebook, you can get started and get data and results pretty quickly and feel good about, yes, I'm going to be able to get X ROAS out of my store and bring in X number of customers and have this back end and have this type of AOV and this type of LTV. The other networks are not so quote unquote easy, even though people might be beating the drum. It's easy, it's easy, it's easy, it's easy. There's a lot to it. And I want to talk a little bit about how we minimize that risk, and then I'll show you some results as far as what you can expect. So the first thing you want to realize is that with any kind of ads that you're running, people don't trust the internet, at least especially the older generation, if you will. We've heard this, similar theme from, infomercials today. So if you've ever heard people comment on your ads, oh, I don't trust online ordering, or I need to speak with someone. What's happening is people are going into Google and they're typing your product name or they're typing your brand name in. They want to see that sort of third-party validation that, yes, you're real. So what we start out with is a brand name or brand keyword search term. So if my product is XYZ apparel, they may go to Google and type in XYZ apparel. And yes, you should rank pretty high, but by putting an ad in place on that branded term, they're going to click on that. You're going to recapture the money, and you can track it a lot better rather than just organic, unless of course you have Google Analytics in place, and then that's a whole nother story. But the point is that is a really good, smart strategy to, capture lost sales. The next way we capture lost sales is by going out to Google search, and particularly Google Display Network. Google Shopping can be a factor, and certainly YouTube is with retargeting. Where with the difference here is with Facebook, if you go out and just start cold traffic up, you can start to scoop up sales pretty quickly. With Google, it's such a far bigger world. Their inventory to deliver ads is so much bigger and so more complex that you don't really want to go into cold traffic first. You want to scoop up that low-hanging fruit, those, brand name sales, those retargeting sales. Start to build up captured sales, have that extra revenue coming in, that ROAS, and then start to experiment with the other platforms. So that's really the strategy that we use, and you can go out and implement it. Now, some of the stuff I want to go over and show you is, and I want to be clear, like if you are a media buyer and you know what to do and the information I just gave you helps you go out and do it, awesome. But I also owe it to you to say, hey, listen, it's not just about that. It's also why I mentioned earlier, I have a dedicated Google media buyer because I know there are intricacies in running ads, optimizing ads that I just haven't learned. So I want to talk about the fact that when you do this, there are certain settings. There is a certain level of sophistication that you need to know. And I'm not saying this just to try and brag and boast about how great I think our company is. I want to call attention to some examples with clients of what we saw and what we ended up with. So let's go ahead and first look at one particular client that we're running AdWords for right now and actually just doing a great job with and for. And I'm not saying this again to brag. I want to show you what's really possible. So over the last 30 days, we have spent $90,000 across these various ad channels. And that has been responsible for 2,910 roughly. I don't think it's going to give me the exact number of sales. It just shows you it shows you day by day. So think to yourself, what would an extra 2,901 or 910 sales do for your business? Now you're thinking, all right, we spent $90,000 in the last 30 days, but the reality is we're making that back at least 1.5x ROAS, if not more. And that's what you need to be thinking about. And we didn't start by making 2,910 sales, spending $89,000. If we go back, let's look at April and see what we did. All right, April, we've been doing pretty good. Let's look at February. So you can see 3 sales, $668 in spend. I think that's when they had their previous media buyer who, went into the client and was like, hey, I'm really good. He came highly recommended, and he got 3 sales. It cost him $668. We came on board, and it does look like our media buyer did a lot better job right out of the gate than I thought, which is, there you go, 1,155 sales with an ad spend of $6,907.19. I knew I could get the actual number if I hovered over it. So that's really what's possible when you add in, Google search, Google display, retargeting, brand keywords, and you know what you're doing. So that's the big thing, right? Is do you know what you're doing? Let's go ahead and take a look at another client that was already running Google ads. We were running their Facebook ads for them. I said, hey, let's have our guy take a look, and we'll see if we can do things. I'm going to go back to, I believe it was, let's look at January of 2018 to March 31st of 2018. Hit apply. And you can see they got 853 conversions over that 3-month period, 3622 CPA, and $30,950.82 in ad spend. Not horrible. I mean, that's almost 853 sales at 3622, which was awesome. And they thought they were doing a great job. And in fact, I'm really impressed with that. But look what happens when you bring in someone, if you will. I think this should work. May. That's just May 1st. May 1st through May 31st, hit apply. No, that's not it. And you go laugh, ha ha ha, Rory's showing us worse. I mean, things, get worse before they get better. So here is our, first full month, June of 2018, 216 purchases at $22.30. So what did I say? It was 33 something. So we slashed their CPA by 33%. What would that do for your business if you could slash your costs by 33%? And I believe this was just AdWords and Google Shopping I don't know that this included yet what we were doing on Google Display Network banner ads, which, are great for retargeting. So let's look at July 1st through 31st. And you can see as we start to optimize and really get into a rhythm, 346 sales at $20.15 CPA. So this is how you start to recoup and recover and do a lot better by adding in Google and having that strategy of start bidding on your brand names, your brand name keywords, get retargeting going on Google Display Network and YouTube, scoop up that low-hanging fruit, those lost sales, those abandoned carts, and figure out a way then to start implementing, developing a strategy where money now goes into how do we test cold traffic. And cold traffic on Google is a beast, because what most people don't realize is you have to have your positive keywords, the ones that you want to show up for, as well as building a negative keyword list. What keywords don't we want to show up for? Same thing with placements, websites. You want to find out what websites do I want to show up on, as well as building that negative list of these are the websites where I don't want to show up. So again, if this gives you the information to arm yourself and go out and do it on your own, fantastic. If this is something where you're like, oh my God, this is great, I need it, I'm at a stage where I know I want this for my business, but it's not where I should spend my time, go ahead, fill out the application, let's get on a call, and let's see how we can help you scale your business and improve your CPA and revenue.